Howdy, howdy.
Hello. Welcome back to JOKERJOKERtv covering Athfest 2024. I am DJ Blackstar, and I am here with...
Steve Houston, and we are talking to Andrew Steck.
Hello.
Today. First off, Andrew, introduce yourself, please, and let us know when you played Athfest or when you will play Athfest and where.
Right on. Hello, my name is Andrew Steck, as has been said. I'm a musician, composer in Athens, Georgia, and I am not playing Athfest this year, unfortunately. Last time I played Athfest was maybe 2018. I was playing with a band called Liberator. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that was a three-piece kind of rock band, I guess. And played, I think that was at the Flicker Bar, with some other bands that I think are playing this year in Athfest. Nick Malice and the Borealis, which are fun.
Shouts out to Nick, by the way.
Yeah. Nick's great. I always love checking out his new stuff. Put on his album just the other day, in fact. And Tears for the Dying, who I'm not sure if they're playing this year, but they are great, and I always try to catch them when they play in town.
They're not playing. Avery is a dear friend of mine, and they're not playing this year, and I think they're just, she's been on tour.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just doing amazing things, you know. But speaking of rock and what you do, I have listened to your stuff online, and I really like it. And
Appreciate that.
You're kind of going progressive. You kind of got a progressive rock, progressive thing going. Very eclectic.
Yeah. It's
tell us about your music making process, because it's got to be interesting.
Yeah, and then too, it's like it started like after Liberator went on hiatus, because like after y'all went on hiatus, three of y'all kind of just did y'all own separate things. So you went into music. I think Owen is basically doing a comedy thing, right?
Yeah, Owen's big in the local comedy scene.
Shouts out to Owen.
Owen Hunt.
Yeah, right.
Look for him.
Right.
And he does Athens comedy, I think, is the maybe the Instagram handle, and it follows different people in town. Lanny Farmer, Kelly Petronas, some other people. And then, our drummer, he was always a music teacher. He's maybe, like, no offense to any other drummers I played with, but he was like maybe like the best drummer, because he had a went to UGA for music, and he became a music teacher. Won like teacher of the year at least once, maybe a few times. But he went on to concentrate on his family, and he has a baby daughter now, and they live in his hometown in South Georgia. So he's doing that thing, and probably just being a generally good dude.
Just being a dad.
But after that kind of ended, because when I was in like my early 20s, I started like trying to figure out, like, man, I've always got like a state radio station in my head where it's like there's something going on, and eventually I was like, I need to learn how to depict this. So I just started going to the library, and on my days off, or like before work or after work, just go to the library and study music and different theoretical approaches. I tend to say music theories instead of theory, because
there's many
people can latch onto one and it gets constrictive.
As I was talking to someone earlier about Indian music, the microtonal aspects of it. There's so much out there to learn. And if you go to the music library, the School of Music at UGA, I used to work there. I was like work study. It was amazing. I was just grabbing things off the shelf and recording it. They had the complete compendium of Charlie Patton, like everything.
Wow. Yeah.
It was so much more. Anyway, that's a great way to go.
Yeah, because like like in high school, I listened to a lot of like blues and folk and jazz and stuff like that, and I wasn't the most popular kid.
Well, me neither. I was listening to prog rock when I was in high school before it was popular or anything, whatever. I was just like, I just love this stuff.
Right. Yeah. And once Liberator kind of went on break for a couple years, we still are, haven't rebanded up.
Yeah.
We do have a lost album that we recorded that may see the light of day at some point, depending on if I ever get off my ass and focus on that rather than my own shit.
Yeah.
But I wound up getting the kind of like composition software that is more or less essential for me to hear playback and of the more like orchestral written out kind of things that I do. And from that point I was like, oh, it's on, like, and because like I would take that and sometimes throw in like drum beats, like throw beats into it. I used to love playing with the drum machine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Same here.
I think a half hour would pass, and it's been like 6 hours, making beats and things like that.
Yeah.
And doing those sort of things. Like, I'm a guitarist essentially, so originally, so I like throwing guitar parts in there where I can. But yeah, and you mentioned some of the things that are streaming. A lot of that is instrumental. I think there's only 2 tracks out of the 4 or 5, depending on how you count them, albums that I have out there.
Yeah. I've heard instrumentals. Yep.
Yeah. So this one I'm working on right now, it's mostly vocal songs, and that's caused me to come up with the album title, which I'm 90% sure it's going to be called regular human music album.
I love that.
It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing.
Yeah.
That the regular part is the album.
Right.
By no means is the regular part the human.
Yeah.
But
Right. Although
because they're far from it, right?
that's a great title.
Yeah.
Do you have anything planned performance-wise coming up?
Not exactly. Sorry, I'm holding the mic away.
Good.
Not exactly right now. There is a few projects that I would say to be on lookout for, because with this project, it is a lot more available for like a standard band, the number of people that can normally fit on a stage to be able to perform it. Whereas some of my other things, like, it's literally like 80 parts or something
Massive
like
layers.
that.
Yeah, lots of layers.
For the orchestral type things. But yeah, this one's, like from like an old school pop song to like R&B, a little bit of gospel snuck in there. A little bit of like Pink Floyd-ish kind of like thing.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that kind of stuff in your music, which
I
think is really great.
So that there's potential there, and I've also been teasing for a few years about doing because I did a arrangement of the Nutcracker suites.
Yeah, I remember
that's
that.
like a sort of an updated thing, and that started because we wanted to do it live, and like. But then I kind of just turned it into a studio type album, and but that's one that's still in the works. Unfortunately, like everybody will get, like, I've talked to a few people in particular about working on it, and then we'd be like all in, and then we get busy over the summer, and then by the time it's like, all right, are we gonna do this? It's like there's only 3 weeks before like the end of the year, because obviously that's something that would be more ideal to do around the holidays.
Christmas is almost gone.
Right. But no, I need to get my ass back out on a stage. It's been since the last decade.
BC, before COVID.
Yeah, right.
Right.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Well,
so I have an idea though.
Right.
Since you were talking about having like different composition prices, like different like genres, right? So in my mind, and Bryant, you can follow me on this, right? So what you could do, like those old school like compilations where it'd be like, like Quincy Jones presents, and it's be like each song would feature a particular like artist or a band or something like that.
Right.
You could just have a show like that where it's just like Andrew Steck presents, and just let it be your compositions, but would feature like a certain band or a certain
cool.
artist, and just kind of let that be the actual show.
Yeah.
That way, usually it's like a 4 or 5 act bill typically, but it's like, no, let it be Andrew Steck presents, but it's your original compositions, like featuring, like, say, like Brian would come through, or somebody like a Mannequin Party or something like that, just all in just like one show. It's like a variety show in a way, but it's just your original composition.
Right.
That might be
that is a good idea. I've actually discussed similar things to that with my wife, and you know, just talking about ways that you can get more public, more outreach, sort of.
Yeah.
And in the sort of a side note, that's what I love about JOKERJOKERtv. That's what I love about your presence and supporting the music scene, is that you're always thinking about, like, how can we make this a thing?
Connect
How
it.
can we like bring more
Connect
people
everything.
into this? And,
Collaborate.
Collaborate,
Yeah.
connect, and everything. So that's really rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something I've been thinking about. And with I have a little. I'm like the worst record label owner in the world, but
well,
that's far worse.
I'm pretty bad here. So, I mean, I'm vying for, you know.
but yeah, I do Athfest Records, arfestrecords.com.
There you go.
Shameless self.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Right.
What happened there? But yeah, I got a buddy of mine, Joe Orr, has put out a couple of albums under the label, and my other friend Jeff Fox, who records under the name Jumping Through Fiery Hoops. His next one's going to be out under Athfest Records, and I had the privilege of listening to a early cut of it. It's like, you know, a millimeter away from being finished.
Oh, wow.
But I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, dude. Like,
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to put this together. I've been telling you it's almost done for a while. And I was like, man, this is one of those albums that, like, yeah, it might have taken a while to put together, but it shows. Like,
yeah,
that work
it's worth
shows.
it. Like, it's worth
And
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm personally so happy with it. So I can't wait to check out the new Jumping Through Fiery Hoops album.
There you go.
Promo. But
Keep it
yeah,
up.
so, like, you know, those guys could be a part of it. I love to bring in more people.
Yeah.
There was one album that I did called Theater, where I had some lyrics in mind for some of the songs, and I asked a few other people to maybe write and contribute vocals to it, and then have like release it as theater encore.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
so if you're watching this and I reached out to you about that, that's still on the table.
We're probably gonna get more people like on that too. Just when this comes out. Yes, I'm looking. Bryant. Yes.
Okay.
You.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing, because, you know, obviously you and I have followed each other. Like, so the first show we did together was the show at, you know, Caledonia.
Right.
And just seeing the evolution from what you were doing with Liberator to what you're doing now solo, it's been inspiring. You know,
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
you know, even with Owen too, it's just like, since y'all were so tight as a group, and just to see y'all just venture off and just do different things that y'all passionate about, like, it's beautiful to see, you know, and it speaks volumes as a creative too. So, you know, and obviously the pandemic, you know, played a part in that as well too. But, but yeah, it gave y'all the opportunity to really just go knee deep into something that you're like really passionate about, and actually releasing it and actually doing it. Cause I think that's the other thing too. It's like, you want to be able to, you have all these ideas, but for whatever reason, it doesn't see the light of day. But for you, it's just like, no, you have your own label. It's like, well, I'm my own boss, so if I want to release it, I can just go ahead and release it.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
So it's important to, you know, be able to have the opportunity to do that, but also like, yo, this is really be dope if I have this person on or that person on. And the beauty part about living in Athens, you can do that, and being in places like this where the collaboration can happen like organically.
Right.
You know?
There's no lack of resources
Absolutely.
for talent in this town.
And when you start making plans to collaborate with someone like Bryant, then you follow
I feel
through.
like this is gonna happen like later today.
You follow.
We're just gonna get together. Like,
you tend to follow
cut some
through.
tracks.
Yeah, it's more than just like I used to.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I started my band UNUS MUNDUS by myself, and I was hermetically sealed in a bubble. But then I started playing with people.
Yeah.
And then the commitments started to happen, and it started to be like, okay, this is happening because of other people.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
So Andrew, I play guitar and some keyboards.
And we were talking, and even still, like with Here Be Monsters, they came through yesterday, and you know they were.
I caught a few minutes of that interview.
Yeah,
actually,
and he was like, no, this started out as a solo project.
Yeah,
and then he was doing it as a solo project for a solid decade, and then it took like his friends. He was like, yo, like, I'm back in Athens. Let's see if we can start a band together. So ultimately, it was like his friends and his peers that saw what he was doing and believed in it enough to, like, we want to be a part of this. Like, how can I be a part of this?
Yes.
Nice.
And I think that what you're doing is leading to that. So but it's also, I understand, it's like, it's your project, it's your baby.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
And you want to be sure that the people who you sign up for, they see the same vision as you do.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
That's a difficult line to walk sometimes. Like, because you want to. You don't want to have like a domineering presence. No one wants to have that around.
You do not have to be.
Art.
You do not have to be Frank Zappa.
Right. Yeah.
We love him, but you don't have
Frank
to be.
Zappa.
Yes.
It's like I couldn't. That's not a part of my personality to want to do that.
No, yes,
but at the
I
same
hear
time,
you.
I'm
I hear
like,
you.
I do want you to play what I want to hear in my head. But if what you're doing sounds cool and it's not exactly that, like there's got to be, some room for that.
Oh wow, I can
Yeah.
adapt.
Yeah.
That's really cool what that person came up with.
Yeah.
Let's adapt.
Yeah, because the whole point of you bringing them in the first place is for them to bring their own flavor to what you bring into the table. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. It's not just having. Like I actually jokingly refer to my band right now, like all the virtual instruments and everything that I'll program and play as the bionic combo.
Yeah.
Like just a bunch of robots that do as I tell them to. So if I'm gonna trade into bionic combo, I need less bionic and more like
human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, veer away from the AI. Go to
Because I mean, like I love Miles Davis. He's one of my big musical inspirations.
Same here.
God, like he different iterations of his band, he's just like, just play like you were practicing. Just play like bring yourself.
And
like,
he played with powerful personalities. He played with John Coltrane.
Right.
John Coltrane was in his band, and that is. I mean, I read his autobiography, Miles Davis's.
Oh,
and,
I love that.
Oh, it's wonderful, and I mean, there was some serious button heads because it's John Coltrane.
Right.
That's nothing to be trifled with. And he worked with a Wayne Shorter, another powerful personality, and he did it. He did his Miles Davis thing.
When John Coltrane would play the extended solos and Miles would be like, John, why you keep playing this?
Yeah, right.
Like, why don't you stop your solos? Yeah. He's like, Miles, when I get going, I have a hard time knowing when to stop.
Yeah.
He's like, take the horn out your mouth.
That's right. He was trying to play all the notes too. There's an interview on one of the Miles Davis Quartet's albums that they did in Stockholm. They're talking to Coltrane's talking to a I don't know, journalist or something, and he's saying, the journalist was like, "Are you angry? Why are you doing all this? Why are you doing all this?" And Coltrane, "I'm not angry. I'm playing every single note. I'm doing everything because I'm trying to figure out what happens next on the journey." That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
I'm playing everything.
Wow. Yeah.
And imagine working with somebody like that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was like, if it's possible, I think I had a Coltrane addiction for a little bit. Like I couldn't go like a day without listening to Coltrane for like at least a half an hour, maybe an hour.
I hear jazz in your stuff.
Yeah.
What I've listened to, I've heard both sort of a progressive sensibility and jazz. Like, and it's really cool.
I mean, like a lot of my composition influences are like Mingus, Thelonious Monk.
Oh, yeah.
I listen to a lot of Eric Dolphy before I write sometimes and get a little get a little wacky.
Yeah, he was out there. Poor, it's such a story. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So shameless self promotion is shameless. Tell them where they can find you and what's to come up from you and your crew, whether it be bionic or human.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, my human and bionic friends out there, you can find my music by searching my name, Andrew Steck, in your whatever streaming source you use. Andrew Steck on Bandcamp. Have everything up there, and you can also buy it through there, and I will receive money for that, which will probably go into other future projects.
Yeah.
You can check out arfisrecords.com to get the scoop on little things. You know, we give little teasers here and there. We got links to my stuff, to jumping through fiery hoops, Joe Orr, and we actually occasionally have guest essays just on random things when friends might have like a. Like, man, I could write an essay about this. I'm like, do it. I'll put you on the I'll put you on the website. Nice. But yeah, arfisrecords.com, Andrew Steck Bandcamp.com, or just search for me in your streaming apparatus of choice.
Awesome.
Well, Andrew, I appreciate you coming through. We appreciate you coming through. And dude,
indeed,
I'm proud of you, man. I am definitely proud of all of your accomplishments. I wanted to tell you that in person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And looking forward to what you got coming up too.
It's great to see you again. It's great to hear about what you're doing.
Likewise.
Your music's really cool, and it's all just great.
Yep.
Did y'all hear that? So rewind, check where you can stream, find out what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Andrew, appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much.
You.
JOKERJOKERtv.
You know it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, man.
Especially kind of last minute.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, you got stuff coming.